Hello, Internet. It is I, Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. And today, we are finally going to talk about Top Gun Maverick. After years of delays, it is finally out, and I finally get to discuss it. So, yeah, I'm pretty pumped. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. If you couldn't tell already, Top Gun Maverick is the sequel to Top Gun, a movie from 1986, which starred a young Tom Cruise. And the whole gist of Top Gun, both movies, is that it's all about aviators. It's all about people flying jets, and it's all about them being the best of the best of the best, right? You know, that's the whole gist of it. And the reason why it's called Top Gun in the first place because that's where like the best aviators, best aviators in the country, they all go to this school. And although it has an official name, the pilots they call it Top Gun. So that's why it's called Top Gun. And the original movie from 1986, it is like one of the most popular 80s movies out there. It's one of the most iconic, easily. When most people talk about 80s movies, this is Top Gun's one of the first movies to be brought up. Alongside E.T., Back to the Future, let's see, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Ghostbusters, just to name a few, select few. And yeah, the first movie, believe it or not, the first Top Gun movie when it initially came out in 86, it got like mixed reviews. I know. Crazy. You don't believe me? Look it up. It's legit. Reviews weren't great initially, but over time, people have grown to love it as like a classic 80s action movie. And the thing is, I just watched the original yesterday. I watched it hours before I was going to watch the sequel because I was like, if I'm going to understand Top Gun Maverick, I need to watch the original because I was going to see Top Gun Maverick anyway. So I watched the original, and I say it holds up better than most 80s movies. I mean, I can see why people love it so much. I mean, like the dialogue, the music, the action scenes. It's all there. It's all great. And yeah, obviously, a movie as beloved as Top Gun, people are going to be interested in the sequel. So, yeah, obviously, brand name recognition. The first movie being so good, being so beloved, it's going to help this one tremendously. So, that's an easy pro, the original movie. So, that's pro number one. Pro number two. I usually don't say this about delays, but I think the delays actually helped this movie than hurt it. The reason why I say that is because the delays, I feel like they built up more hype. People were more anxious to see it because Top Gun Maverick, this movie's been a Top Gun sequel has been in development for a long time. It was initially started in 2010, but because of Tony Scott's death, the original director, in 2012, production was put on ice. But then 2017, Joseph Krasinski, the man behind Tron Legacy and Oblivion, he was hired to direct, and then the cast was assembled, and the movie was filmed in 2018, finished in 2019. It was initially going to come out in 2019, but they noted that the complex action scenes would need a lot of time to do that. They got pushed to 2020, and then the first trailer came out in 2019. People were like, "Wow, this is so good! This looks amazing!" And then we all know what happened next. I really don't need to tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyway. COVID! Yeah. COVID caused this movie to get delayed by 2 years. It was supposed to come out in June 2020. Then it got pushed to December 2020. Then July 2021. Then November 2021. Then finally, May 2022, where it's out right now. But with like other movies where it feels like they just kind of got forgotten and nobody wanted to watch them, like, say, I don't know, Morbius, for an example, people actually wanted to see this movie. They legit wanted to see it, and they were willing to wait. They were willing to wait 2 more years to see it. And once like the new date was finalized, the hype started to build. It really started to build, and now it has reached peak hype. It has reached its peak. It's reached its apex. And yeah, so I feel like the delays actually helped this movie more than hurt it, because this is definitely a movie where like the delays paid off. So yeah, I feel like the long wait, because it's been 36 years. That's a long time. I'm 22. The original movie is 14 years older than me. So yeah, people have been waiting a long time for this. Now I've talked about sequels, like long awaited sequels in the past. I talked about Bad Boys for Life. That was like a 17-year gap between movies. That has nothing compared to this. So, yeah, like obviously it's been a long wait, but the long wait might pay off. It will pay off. So, yeah, I feel like the long wait is a pro here because people actually wanted to watch this movie. So, that's a pro. Another pro, reviews are incredible. I mean, it's score on Rotten Tomatoes like 97%, which has to be one of the highest rated for an action movie ever. And the audience score is at 99%, which is also crazy. So word of mouth is spectacular from all sides. So how on earth would that ever be a con? That's going to increase box office even more. So yeah, phenomenal word of mouth from reviews and audience reactions, all been fantastic. So that's a easy pro. Another pro, competition. What competition? There really isn't anything right now. I mean, Doctor Strange 2 is like 4 weeks old, so that's old news. And then everything else is just kind of on a much lower bar in comparison. I mean, most of the movies that are out right now have been out for weeks, over a month for many of them. So, yeah, all that's old news. Sure, there's the Bob's Burgers movie this weekend, but it just kind of exists in comparison to this. This is going to be like, this is the event movie. This is the movie everyone wants to watch. So, competition right now is pretty much non existent. It won't be non existent for long, but for right now, it's non existent. So, that's a pro. Another pro is the man himself, Tom Cruise. Fun fact: this is the first Tom Cruise movie I've ever covered for box office predictions. So that's that's wild. It really is. So Tom Cruise, man, he's had quite the career going back to like the 80s. And Top Gun, that was the movie that was the movie that launched him to the stratosphere when it comes to, his box office might. So there was the original Top Gun, there was Rain Man, A Few Good Men, where it has, the famous, "You can't handle the truth." That line. See, there's The Firm, Interview with a Vampire, Mission Impossible, Jerry Maguire, I guess Eyes Wide Shut. Mission Impossible 2, which is the Mission Impossible movie we all want to forget, but it still did well. Vanilla Sky, Minority Report, Last Samurai, Collateral, War of the Worlds. Tom Cruise was killing it in the early, like the first half of the 2000s. He was just on fire. Then something happened to change that. A mix of couch jumping, Scientology, and a weird relationship with Katie Holmes kind of damaged his reputation to the point where Mission Impossible 3 underperformed a bit. Valkyrie did okay. Night and Day didn't do all that great. But Mission Impossible, that's been his one consistent throughout the last decade. Those have done really well for him. They've done super well for him. Like the fourth movie did fantastic. Rock of Ages was a bomb, although he was more of an extended cameo in that movie. Jack Reacher did fine. Oblivion did fine. As I already mentioned, the director of that would direct Top Gun Maverick. Edge of Tomorrow deserved to do better. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation did really good. Jack Reacher Never Go Back did eh. The Mummy was an absolute disaster in multiple ways. Not only was the movie a bomb, it killed the whole dark universe before it ever began. So, yeah, that's a yikes. An American Made did meh. And the Mission Impossible Fallout is currently his biggest movie of all time worldwide. So yeah, Tom Cruise has had a history of success. Sure, he's had some bombs in in the recent years, The Mummy being the biggest, but overall his track record is pretty decent. So yeah, I'd say Tom Cruise being associated with the movie that made him famous, and the sequel to that movie, that's obviously a pro. So that's how many pros are we at now? I think 4 or 5. I lost count. It doesn't matter. It's a pro. Another pro, it's preview numbers. Now, I wasn't expecting massive preview numbers for this. I expected good preview numbers, not nothing crazy. I thought it'd make like 10 million in previews, which would have been pretty good. That's not what happened. It made 19 million in previews, which decimates my expectations. Um so yeah, this 19 million. How good is it? Well, when it comes to previews, it's number 27. So, it's up there. I mean, yeah, I mean most of the movies that are up here are like superhero movies and Star Wars movies and Twilight and Harry Potter. But its preview numbers are better than the first Avengers, Deadpool 2, Jurassic World, Incredibles 2, Dark Knight, Guardians 2, um yeah, a lot of movies, a lot of massive movies too. Movies that opened well over $100 million. So that's great. That's fantastic. And I think when it comes to when it comes to movies that have been released like since like theaters reopened, when it comes to preview numbers, the only movies that have done better than Top Gun Maverick are No Way Home, Doctor Strange 2, and The Batman. So it's in a pretty darn good place right now when it comes to money. And yeah, so that's fantastic. And look at some of these numbers here. I mean, Jurassic World, which I guess we can consider a comparison, that opened like a little lower than that and it opened above 200 million. So that's the type of numbers we could potentially see here, which is crazy. So, yeah, preview numbers are insane for this movie. So that's a pro. Uh let's see. Are there any other pros I can think of? Any notable pros? I can't really think of anything. Uh I think I mentioned like all the main points. Well, I guess another pro is that this movie could really bring in like that older audience that's been missing for a long time. I mean, again, Top Gun came out in the 80s. 86. It's 36 years old. So naturally everyone who grew up on that movie is old. So they're probably going to be interested in the sequel. And that's good. This movie needs like a wide net if it's going to be a success, and I feel like it's going to do that. It's already doing that. So, yeah, this movie bringing in like an audience that hasn't been in theaters for a long time, that's fantastic. That's great. So that's easy pro. And I didn't even mention this preview number is not only the biggest for Memorial Day, but it's also the biggest for Paramount period, which is just nuts. That's mental. And Memorial Day weekend, how can I forget? The weekend this is launching. Now, Memorial Day, I have to look up specifically records. Okay, weekend, holiday weekend, Memorial Day. Here we go. All right. So Memorial Day. It's had a history of success, but it has definitely seen better days. I mean, obviously up here you got like the number one right now is at Pirates 3. Then you got The Last Stand, you got Indiana Jones Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which I guess we can compare it to Top Gun Maverick in a way, being like a long delayed sequel. Fast Furious 6, Aladdin, Days of Future Past, Hangover 2, Solo. Yikes. The thing is, I really thought Solo would be number one here, but it wasn't. It was an absolute embarrassment. So that's a yikes. Then Lost World Jurassic Park, which had the biggest opening weekend at the time. Day After Tomorrow, Bruce Almighty, Pearl Harbor, Mission Impossible 2, speaking of another Tom Cruise movie. Uh, yeah, a lot of success here. But in like the last decade, like past 2014, it's been a little rough. I mean, what came out in 2015? Remember 2015, Tomorrowland? Does anyone on planet Earth remember that movie? I watched that movie, and I can't tell you for my life what that movie was about. But that movie tanked hard. And then I guess I can mention 2010. That was pretty bad. Prince of Persia and Sex and the City 2 underwhelmed. That Poltergeist remake that nobody remembers. Hell, I saw that movie and I can't tell you what happened. But yeah, that didn't do great. Alice Through the Looking Glass, oof, that really didn't do great. Baywatch 2017, that was a disaster. Then you got Pirates 5, that underwhelmed. And then I already mentioned Solo's failure. So and X-Men Apocalypse, that did that didn't do great. Well, it didn't do as well as it should have. But Aladdin 2019, that did really well. That did extremely well. And then Quiet Place 2 did well considering the circumstances. But yeah, Memorial Day, it's had a history of success, but it's had a history of failures. But it's still a good weekend to release a movie. It's still one of the bigger weekends of the year. And Top Gun Maverick is going to. It's not like, oh, it might. No, it will beat Pirates 3. It will beat a 15-year record for the biggest opening in Memorial Day history. So, yeah. So, yeah, that's what Memorial Day looks like. Big weekend, primary weekend. It used to be like the start of the summer movie season. That's obviously changed to the first weekend of May. But it's still a really good time to release a movie. So, and for a movie like this, it's perfect. So that's a pro. Memorial Day weekend is a big pro. I think that's really it with the pros. Okay, cons. There's like one con, and it has nothing to do with this weekend. It has something to do with what's coming out after Top Gun Maverick. In 2 weeks' time, we have Jurassic World Dominion, which is no doubt going after the same audience as this. And Top Gun Maverick is going to take a bit of a beating because of that, because it's going to lose those big screen, IMAX screens and whatnot. Those big money IMAX screens. So that's going to be a problem. Then the week after that, we got Lightyear, which isn't going to help. But although that weekend is going to be Father's Day, and what better movie to bring your dad to than this, right? It's ideal. So yeah, competition's going to be rough. It's going to ding it a little bit, but I don't think it'll do too much damage overall. But yeah, that's literally it. That's the only con I can think of, which shows you how positive I think this movie's gonna do. I didn't even mention it has the widest launch ever for a movie, the most theaters ever for a movie, which really tells you that Paramount are super giddy about this movie, and they have every right to be. So yeah, and so yeah, I think that's it. So opening weekend, initially, I was thinking it'll open between like 90 and 100 million, which would still been really good. That's just that's not even the realm of possibility anymore. That's just this movie's gonna shoot right past that. So at this point, like the sky's the limit. So should I even try? I'm gonna try. Opening weekend, I do 3 day and 4 day. So 3 day, I'm going with um I'm gonna go. I think this movie might be just a tad front loaded because again, this is based off a well known property and people waited so long for this movie. There's gonna be a little bit of front loading, nothing too extreme. I think it's gonna open between at 170 for the 3 day weekend. 170 is where I see it landing. Maybe 170 to 180. That's where I see it landing. And 4 day, I can see it hitting 200 million, which would be absurd. But that's what I think is going to happen. And yeah, so it's going to have easily destroy the Memorial Day record and be the biggest opening weekend in Paramount history. And I didn't even mention how Paramount's been doing amazing this year. I don't know how, I don't know why, but they are. I mean, with Scream 5, Jackass Forever, Lost City, Sonic 2, and now this, they are killing it. So, yeah, like, and they're going to be 5 for 5 when it comes to successes, um, thanks to Top Gun Maverick. So, yeah, I don't know how I could forget that. So, yeah, and it's total. Oof. I think this might, because of word of mouth is so good, it might hit 400, 500 million domestic. I think with the first movie, its total. I have to find it. I have to find its total. I mean, sure, it'll beat it in raw dollars, but there's also inflation though. 36 years worth of inflation. So, uh, inflation. Okay, inflation. Here it is. $437 million in worth of ticket sales. Top Gun Maverick might beat it. It should beat it at the rate it's going. It will beat its predecessor in ticket sales, which is insane. So, yeah, yeah, it seems like that's what's gonna happen, and it might be the biggest movie of the year domestically, which is something I thought I would never say. I knew it would be big. I knew it would be one of the biggest, but I didn't think it would be the biggest. Although Avatar 2 has yet to come out, and that might top it. But yeah, Top Gun Maverick might be the winner for now, which is just mental. So, yeah, that's Top Gun Maverick. Yeah, and that's it for the weekend. And for the month of May. Boy, May has been something. We started on a high with Doctor Strange 2, and we ended on a high with Top Gun Maverick. So, business is doing great. It's infinitely better than last year. And I don't even need to mention 2020. So, we're really on a good pace right now. We're really on like a good track. So, yeah, next week, I don't know if I'm going to be doing prediction videos. I'm not sure. It's kind of iffy. But if I don't do any of that next week, I'll definitely do Jurassic World Dominion. That's guaranteed. So depending on what happens, the next one will be Jurassic World Dominion. If not, it'll be one of these movies. But again, I don't know. I'll have to see. I'll let you know. You'll know if I make a video on these movies here. All right. So yeah, stay tuned for all those. But that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. You want to check out more videos like this? I got playlists on the homepage with all previous prediction videos I made this year. All the big movies that have come out. There haven't been too many, but they have been big. Doctor Strange 2, The Batman, Sonic 2. Those are our biggest right now. So if you want to watch my prediction videos on those or any others I've done this year, all the Paramount movies, Scream 5, Jackass Forever, Lost City, and Sonic 2. Want to watch any of those? Go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. Yesterday I did canceled episode 128 on Indiana Jones 5 and some other movies. When it comes to Top Gun Maverick, I covered this movie many times. It's one of the earliest movies I covered on the canceled series. I first mentioned it on episode 5 alongside Quiet Place 2 and like the third SpongeBob movie. Then it got delayed several times after that. It was part of episode 14. I think another one, I think it was in the 50s. I think it was 56. And then I mentioned again, it was with, I forgot, man. I forgot when it was. I think it was with Yeah, it was with Ghostbusters Afterlife, Mission Impossible 7 and 8, and Jackass Forever. I forgot what, I think it was 80 something. It was in the 70s or 80s, I forget, but I covered it. That was the last time I covered it for this series. And I didn't even mention like Mission Impossible 7. Saw the trailer for it in front of Top Gun Maverick on the big screen, and it looked great. It looks awesome. Can't wait to see that next year. And speaking of Top Gun Maverick, I might as well get my thoughts on it. I thought the movie was great. Definitely pays respect to the original without like insulting it or anything. You know, Tom Cruise is great. The new cast is great. The action scenes are spectacular looking. The movie's just great. Probably my second, maybe second or third best movie I've seen this year. I mean, Everything Everywhere All at Once will definitely stay number one, but this is up there. This is definitely going to be my top five for the year. So, yeah, those are my quick thoughts on that. But yeah, if you want to watch any of the past cancel episodes I made, all 128 episodes, including the Top Gun ones, you can go do it, binge it, do in chronological order. I highly suggest it. And there's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for any particular month. And May recap will come out. Will come out next week. Man, like like I knew Doctor Strange 2 would be a massive hit, but Top Gun Maverick, I did not expect it to be as big as it is right now. I did not expect that at all. So that's gonna be real interesting to talk about. But that won't happen until next week, so stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.